So critical race theory talks about how the systems that we have, the laws that we have, how all of those are designed to oppress people groups.
Well, this teacher just demonstrated again why I'm telling you, get your kids out of the public school. That said, apparently we need to do a summer session on critical race theory. So this teacher took to TikTok to explain that if you disagree with the concept of critical race theory, that in other words, institutions within themselves, the system of how we live our life in this nation is basically racist to its very core. It is specifically designed to oppress certain people based on the color of their skin and automatically reward people based on the color of their skin. And it comes up with asinine assumptions that, well, obviously, if the writers of the laws are white, then they only favor white people and are automatically designed to oppress black people. So, in other words, they're making it all about race. And this teacher not only said, we can't do that, but he said, we don't have to be nice about it either.
So this comment right here is asking me to explain why not wanting critical race theory in the classroom is racist. Thank you for asking me this question. I'd love to explain it. So critical race theory talks about how the systems that we have, the laws that we have, how all of those are designed to oppress people groups. Things like mass incarceration, the prison industrial system, the military industrial system, all of those are used to oppress people groups. By teaching this in the classroom, we can show our kids what systems need to be challenged and thought about differently. Racism isn't going to be fixed by me going down to a kid right here and saying, hey buddy, you really need to be nicer to that kid over there, even though they look a little bit different than you. We can dismantle racism by dismantling systems of oppression, not by being nice to people. We can dismantle racism by dismantling systems of oppression, not by being nice to people. When you don't want to teach future generations about how these systems were designed to oppress people, you're taking the side of the oppressor, being racist.
Another wingnut libloon turned loose in the classroom. And again, you wonder why I tell you, get your kids out of there. But then to basically say that if you disagree with him, you're racist. That's like Anthony Fauci doubling down again on the whole, if you attack him, if you question him, you are criticizing science. Well, first of all, science has to be criticized. That's how we learn things. That's how we get places. That's what we call peer review. What do scientists do? They review what each other does, and they criticize it. They pull it apart. They say, that's not how that is. And Fauci falling back to his science has to evolve. Okay, we understand that knowledge does evolve, that there was one time scientists believed the world was flat. They believed that you put leeches on people to bleed them, and that's how they would get better. They believed that if you put somebody in a mercury bath, you could cure them of syphilis. You know, scientists did all kinds of things to people that literally destroyed their lives. And Jon Stewart absolutely hit it out of the park the other night when he said to Stephen Colbert, science has to protect us from science, because these guys just don't stop. If they get an idea in the lab, they just go for it, no matter what. Can you say COVID lab leak? So when Fauci says, how dare we question him? We're questioning science. Well, Mr. Fauci, I thought we were supposed to question science. After all, that's your defense for why you flipped and flopped en masse, that you became more enlightened and realized, oh, I got to change my position. So if science is evolving for you, why isn't it evolving for us? Why we can't look at things and the way they went down and say, really? A bat somehow mated with another species, and that's how the human race got coronavirus? Didn't have anything to do with the fact that where the virus really broke out was in the same city that has a lab that studies and produces bat viruses? We're not supposed to put those two thoughts together. That makes us somehow wrong. just like this yin-yang in the classroom, to when we want to talk about things like individual responsibility and opportunity and liberty, that's somehow racist. But this is what's being passed off as education in our American public schools. And then when he really hit this whole thing that we have to teach critical race theory because what we're doing is we are setting captives free.
So critical race theory talks about how the systems that we have, the laws that we have, how all of those are designed to oppress people groups.
The funny thing is that the big pushback that is coming against CRT across the nation is really coming from black communities. Black parents are standing up saying, no, this is not what I want my children taught. No, this is not how it is. They're creating this idea that nothing in this country has ever changed, has ever gotten better. To hear them talk, you would think that we still have slaves on the plantation down in Alabama somewhere, that nothing has changed, nothing has gotten better, nothing has been equalized, nothing has in any way made life better, in particular for the black community. This is why they have to burn flags. This is why they have to kneel during the anthem. And did you hear? We have a transgender athlete who just made the U.S. Olympic team. And they've said if they win gold, they intend to burn the American flag at the podium. Let that sink in for a moment. Because there were certainly no people of color that ever put on our nation's uniform and fought for that flag. And again, while we understand that many of them did return home to a nation that was, depending on the area of the nation they lived in, could have been segregated, divided, prejudiced. We understand that. But the country today is certainly nothing like it was just 50 years ago. And again, all of you athletes that want to champion these causes. Been watching a lot of baseball the past few days, and there's a commercial that runs quite a bit. The WNBA is looking for viewers. Nobody's watching. And they've got this little crawl. We've got plenty of action, and they'll show you some action shots. And we've got dunks, and they'll show you dunks. We got trash talk, and they'll show you a couple players getting into it. We take a stand. Then you see all these WNBA players kneeling with a message on the back of their jerseys, say her name. And ta-da, cha-ching, right there. That's why people are tuning out. They don't tune into sports to be preached at or to be lectured to. They tune into sports to watch. And then the whole message of that WNBA commercial was, we got the action, you're just not watching. Well, first of all, I don't particularly enjoy watching the WNBA. Sorry. But again, they make it all about race, to which I will simply respond, fine. You don't like the system here. Please tell us where you find the system much more equitable for you, where you find greater freedom and equality. Oh, and one that will pay you millions of dollars to play a child's game. Exactly. So, a black parent recently stood up at a school board meeting and basically called BS on CRT and said, if I'm so oppressed, hey, teach, are you paying attention to this? If I'm so oppressed, how'd I get 2 doctorates?
When you talk about critical race theory, which is pretty much going to be teaching kids how to hate each other, how to dislike each other, that's pretty much, I don't care what you say, it's pretty much what it's going to all come down to. You're going to deliberately teach kids, this white kid right here got it better than you because he white? You're going to purposely tell a white kid, oh, the black people are all down and suppressed. How do I have 2 medical degrees if I'm sitting here oppressed? How did I get, first of all, sign up, because I only got 5 minutes now, 5 minutes. 2 medical degrees. No mom, no dad in the house. Worked my way through college. Sat there and hustled my butt off to get through college. You gonna tell me somebody that looked like all y'all white folks kept me from doing that? Are you serious? Not one white person ever came to me and say, well, son, you're never going to be able to get nowhere because you know the black people. But guess what? What's sickening about this whole thing is what y'all doing right now is already something I do in my community right now to speak out against stuff, because black folks are getting told by other black folks, oh, you know you ain't going to be able to do nothing out there in the world because them white folks ain't going to let you get no, or you know you're not going to be able to do it here because you know, the white man going to keep you down. Well, how did I get where I am right now if some white man kept me down? How am I now directing over folks that look just like you guys in this room right now? How? What kept me down? What oppressed me? I worked for myself from off the streets to where I am right now. You gonna sit here and tell me this lie of critical race theory? Of this the reason why black folks can't get ahead because of white folks? Are you kidding me? This is what we come to now. I can't believe we even talking about this right now. The last thing I'm gonna say right here is something that's crazy. Martin Luther King said he wanted his kids to grow up in a world where they are judged by the contents of their what? Their character, not their skin. If they letting this stuff go on right now, it is absolutely doing the complete reverse of what he's doing. So when February comes, don't talk about Martin Luther King. When February comes, don't talk about Black History Month. Y'all gonna sit there and just pretty much pee on his grave with this nonsense? That's exactly what's about to happen. Lastly, we are talking about our kids. We are talking about our children. What's so sickening about me, I love the Discovery Channel. You will see that on the Discovery Channel, animals will put their lives on the line to protect their children from danger. Nobody want to get to the heart of the matter, get to the meat of the matter, get to more of the story. When it all comes down to it, the person that's going to be suffering from this, the one's going to be hurt from this, is the kids. 10 years from now, if this stuff goes on, whose fault is it going to be? Whose fault is it going to be? Who we going to look back on and blame for this? Because this is stuff we're talking about right now. This stuff is going on right now. I do this stuff on a daily basis. I'm in the hood. I'm in the communities. I'm out there with folks in their face. I've been doing this stuff since I was 18 years old, talking to black folks. And you know what? None of them are buying this nonsense. None of them are. But if you want to implement this into the school system, I guarantee you to the day that I die, I'm going to be the very person right there debunking stuff, tearing stuff down, letting them know they can do exactly what I did and get exactly where I am by putting themselves to work and getting there. And ain't not one white person ever going to keep any of them from getting there. So the CRT stuff, BS.
Boom, shaka-loom, shaka-boom. Hey, that's it for today's rant. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up and a like. Make sure you smack the bell, click the word all to get notification of my next rant.